Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar by solutionXchg on SAP Archiving Reinvented. We're thrilled you could attend this morning and hope you will find the topic interesting. My name is Kristen Gerling, and I will be your host for this session. I'm a managing partner with solutionXchg and have close to 18 years of consulting experience with various SAP modules, and of course SAP Archiving and Imaging. Upfront, a few administrative items. Our presentation today will take about 45 minutes. During that, all participants will be on mute for the full duration of the webinar. Please post any questions or concerns through the questions function on the right side of your screen in the administration panel. If you cannot hear us or cannot see the presentation, please do the same. Post a remark on that question panel, and then we will try to figure out any technical difficulties here. We will send out a transcript to those who are interested after the webinar. Please let us know through an email to info@solutionxchg.com, and let's dive right into it. I will hand it over to our presenter today, my business partner, Jochen Hager. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Kristen, for the lovely introduction. And my name is Jochen Hager. I'm your speaker for today, and I'm also a managing partner with solutionXchg. Today's topic in our Spring into Action series is SAP Archiving Reinvented, and we want to talk about a new standard for SAP archiving, that is document and data archiving solutions with SAP, and we will dive right into our topic. Oops, I'm sorry. So a question, I think, leading question is why do we archive? There's different reasons. We archive for compliance reasons, we archive for data management reasons, we archive because we need to communicate documents effectively and efficiently to workers throughout the enterprise. And as all of you are aware, that your SAP system is producing large amounts of business relevant documents and data every single day. And I want to point out that the term SAP archiving actually has two meanings. It actually, in all correctness, it applies to the overall task of storing documents and data, making them available for future use, current or future use. And SAP archiving, though sometimes used just for in the data archiving context, is to be viewed larger and encompassing documents as well as data you take out of the SAP system. So throughout the presentation, we're going to look at both sides, the document archiving and the data archiving, and of course the underlying and necessary infrastructure you need to do any archiving in SAP at all. SAP system produces invoices, sales orders, shipment documentation, print lists, and many other documents and data that you need to keep. There is accounting rules for it. There is personnel management rules for it. There is all kinds of regulatory, internal, company internal, and external rules that require to keep documents available for a certain period of time over their obvious reason to archive documents in the first place, and that is just to share documents. So it's really, there's two major components to any data archive, to any archiving, be that data archiving or document archiving effort, and that is first to communicate, to share information, and then to manage information for retention and long-term compliance reasons. And of course, if we manage those documents for long-term reasons, documents need to be accessible quickly and safely from a common storage platform over a longer period of time. And for many of you out there, archiving is nothing new. Here is a few facts. You probably have been running an SAP attached content management system for a few years now. You're probably somewhat comfortable with its performance and capabilities. You have a clue of what the maintenance is and what it takes. But um, in all likelihood, there is a number of things that can be improved about that particular system you are using today. And the main reason is that technology is never at a standstill. Systems that have been implemented many years ago, and Kristen and I have been in the industry for 15 to 20 years, and we saw systems going in 10 years, 15 years ago at a premium price. And today you can get that same functionality for a lower cost with better features and less administration and less hardware footprint. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. And I'm going to describe to you what classical approaches are usually seen out there in the market with SAP customers we work with. First solution I want to look at is a somewhat homegrown in-house solution. People use the SAP Content Server. It requires often custom code, scripted and worked around it. There is no load script to get documents in there. External documents can't really be managed. Document viewing is challenging. There is different flavors of viewers, but everything has to be kind of cobbled together. It is not really compliant because of missing data security standards. And according to SAP, it's not production ready. There is limited support available from SAP. Support, in our experience, takes quite long if there is anything wrong, specifically in the data archiving environment. The product itself is not actively maintained. So that is kind of the first flavor. It's the do-it-yourself, put it together yourself solution, which has certainly its challenges. The other side of the spectrum is the old school mega systems. There's enterprise content management systems out there, large solutions that have been in the market, very specialized initially for just SAP, now becoming broader and broader, trying to encompass everything, all the data you have in your enterprise. And there's a number of companies out there, from IBM, OpenText, and whatnot, that offer these large ECM solutions. Usually they come with a high initial purchase price based on a user count. There's hardware. They're hardware heavy. They're usually multi-server architectures that require an archive server, a database installed with a full database license, a web service component. It's a multi-service, multi-component architecture, which absolutely has the capability to manage every single document in your enterprise. But that massive scale comes at a high price, and it's because of that scale, or that intent to scale it to a level that it can support every single document in your enterprise, it's often oversized for future growth. And the innovation cycles are just not fast enough for these ECM systems to keep up with modern architectures, web service focused architectures, cloud architectures, and so on. So often we find that these systems are not state of the art anymore. They're never right sized. They're mostly oversized, and they come at a premium pricing and continued high maintenance. So if you don't innovate, you end up falling behind. If you embarked on one of these previously described solutions, you're stuck with a complexity in administration. You have large hardware fees, maybe a database maintenance cost, and excessive maintenance for your existing content management solution. And I have just 5 simple recommendations for you on how to remedy the solution. And first recommendation is eliminate that expensive archive server. And that can be done by either virtualizing your environment, going to an architecture that's built on VMware, scale as you need it. Don't oversize it up front, or downsize it right now so that you have a more manageable footprint, less hardware cost, and with that, less maintenance cost. If you come down from a solution that was bought at a high initial purchase price with a 18 or 20% annual maintenance fee. For that maintenance fee alone, you can purchase a newer solution in many cases that gives you more functionality at a lower total cost of ownership. And many companies are actually making that switch. Many companies are moving away from initial expensive systems, or even consolidating multiple solutions that have been put into place over time into one single platform. What we are advocating is the smart approach, and that's a Java-based storage connector, the KGS Content Server for Storage. It's a slim fit, lightweight, with a small technical footprint. It's very easy to install. It's safe and allows and even offers a compliant document migration feature that allows you to take documents away or off your existing solutions and safely migrate it into your existing into your new target environment. It comes with matching add-ons for scanning, viewing, and even non-SAP related documents, which can be managed inside SAP to give you one solid experience. And it has a very SAP-centric approach that gives you good short and long-term savings capabilities. Looking at this in a little bit more detail, how is your architecture going to change? And I don't want to go too technical here, but at least I want to show you what a classical large-scale ECM system looks like. Well, on the left-hand side, of course, the SAP system is the same. Through SAP uses SAP Archiving and its HTTP interface to connect to the storage system. But many of those large enterprise content management solutions start with an archive link connector module connecting to the actual archive, which has a storage module and a database module running a proprietary database by Oracle or Microsoft SQL Server or a DB2 database. And from there, and that's where they keep all the index information. And at the same time, they connect to various storage solutions. Of course, you know, in the past, people used jukeboxes, and we still see jukeboxes out there, especially when we migrate off legacy solutions. And but today, it's more the NetApp solution, the EMCs, or other more modern solutions like Eternity ICAS that are used for that. So now, if we take this environment and translate it into a KGS content server environment, what we do is we completely eliminate that storage module and the database module, and we reduce your system to really just having that archive link, an archive link Java module, very light footprint, running on a Tomcat server that is connecting to underlying storage through a storage link component that can be as simple as just connecting into storage that presents itself as a file system, which is the most preferred and most easily structured way, or it also does support EMC, Centera, and other enterprise storage components. But ideally, really, you connect with that Java module and the storage link into the file module. So you can imagine, by just listening to what I describe here, that this really is a very lightweight architecture. So the main features, again, there's no database need. There's no redundant data storage. There's no need to copy any data out of SAP and keep it in a separate index like many of the larger enterprise content management solutions do. It's yet another interface that needs to be maintained, yet another communication structure. There's duplicate login requirements. If we look at some solutions like the FileNet solutions that we see out there, or some of the open text solutions out there. We can, with the KGS content server, we can reuse existing storage solutions, so that if you already have purchased some storage, very likely we can rededicate that and use it. It's easy to scale. It scales on a virtual machine level as well as on each virtual machine by having the capability to have multiple instances and run on and installing multiple server components for different archives you might you might maintain on your solution. And it's completely administration free because it's stateless. It does not store any information. It is a connector type solution that connects SAP Archive Link and translates it and basically streams the information right to the file system. The big advantage is that you don't have to do regular backups on it. You have to have, of course, a master backup, an image that you can restore in case a Windows upgrade messes up your system or something happens to the system. But be that conflicting software versions that come through regular software maintenance. But other than that, there is literally no state that needs to be preserved. You could literally power down your VMware. You can replace it with the golden image you keep and power that golden image up again. It would just function as if it would have never stopped. A few added features. It comes it integrates with the SAP document viewer, or it has capability to connect to a non-installed Java viewer, which is a very nice feature. All existing SAP releases are fully supported. It's able to manage very high document volume, and it runs on Windows platforms or Linux platforms. We have installed it on a variety of platforms, whether that's Red Hat, Linux, or SUSE, or other Linux environments that we have seen out there. Many customers use it on Windows servers with a Windows Tomcat web service. It fully supports SAP security concepts. You can use HTTPS communication with it or security certificates to sign links, just as you might be doing it right now with your existing solution. So give you an idea how the software layers are actually stacked, we have at the top here, the content server software layer, SAP Archive Link or BCILM communication directly to your SAP compliant storage software, the KGS software as we describe it. The KGS software through a file system interface or an API talks to a compliance software layer, which typically is an eternity solution in our scenarios that in locks down the documents so that with the right retention management in place, the documents cannot be changed for the scheduled retention time. So obviously retention, if you have looked at that, always has two components. There is the logical retention time you put on a document when you create it. You know it's of a certain type. It needs to be kept for a certain number of years. You want to make sure that that retention span that is defined by the document type is really securing or is translated down into a hardware layer, is passed down to the hardware layer so that the document is actually preserved for that minimum amount of time it has to be available by law to comply with internal or external regulation. Of course, then there's other business rules that might extend that retention period because you can't delete it if it's on a legal hold and so on. There's multiple other reasons, but that's kind of the basic requirement you have to comply with. And of course, Eternity is also a software layer, a lower layer software that then sits on SAN or NAS storage, preferably SAN storage, an actual storage system that allows that keeps the physical documents, and the documents through Eternity will be encrypted and safeguarded as they are put on that lowest storage layer. The KGS solution is specifically designed for SAP archiving requirements. It works well with any type of archiving documents you use, as well as the SAP ILM information lifecycle system. It's certified for SAP Archive Link 6.40, including load test certifications, and it supports the SAP ILM product line, fully capable to store documents and data archiving files and Dart files. All document types that are created by SAP can be stored and maintained and managed. And it really is a unique approach because it has modern cloud type scalability. It can serve small requirements to mid-sized requirements to very large requirements. We have literally implemented it for customers in any category. Excuse me for a second. So it has that bandwidth, it has that capability to span and to grow with your system. So that's today, that's the main requirement you have. If you look at cloud solutions, you want a solution that dynamically scales, and the KGS content server, whether kept on premise or operated in a cloud environment, and it's completely capable to be operated in a cloud environment. We actually have agreements with Amazon to showcase the software in a cloud environment. We can run it on cloud servers. So even if eliminating those virtual servers you might have today in your organization, and completely run it in the cloud, have your documents in the cloud as well, if that is the direction you're going in your IT department. But there's some drawbacks. Cloud archiving is something that needs to be considered. We have had other presentations on that where we really in depth take a look at it. If you're interested, I would advise you to go to our YouTube channel. There is a number of good talks about the challenges and benefits of archiving in the cloud, or contact Kristen or me afterwards, and we'd be happy to give you the right information or present to an interested group at your organization. So with all these features, it's really a best fit system. The entire system is developed with 100% compliance to SAP standard, and with one and only one purpose in mind, in how to build the best archiving solution for SAP. Fully certified. Again, here the certification certificates, recent certificates, as recent as January 2014. This one here, the KGS content server for storage 4.2, and the SAP Link framework, the basic connection to SAP 7.0, certified for the latest BC AL 6.40 interface that is available from SAP. Of course, if you have an existing solution in place, there is a need for a migration. And we have a great migration tool available that allows you to migrate from existing solutions, be that an SAP content server or any of the larger ECM solutions, to a KGS content server for storage archive. And that can be easily done and safely done with the migration procedure. Documents everything in a database, and you get a full transcript of what your migration, what the results were, and how the migration performed. And usually those migrations can be done fairly quickly, depending on the document volume. The longest time period really is just getting everything in place, getting all the components together. The migration itself is fast and highly risk reduced, so that it can be done safely from one Archive Link compliant solution to the other. I mentioned a couple of things here already. Cloud readiness, I talked about that. Snapshot backups, again, the solution is stateless. Those are two main features. I would like to point out, I just talked about the migration tool, a great, very performant, high performance tool that allows you to quickly move data from one system to the other. And with that, we think it's better, faster, simpler, and right out cheaper than any of the other solutions you might find in the market. We have great references for KGS. Bayer, as an international pharmaceutical company, runs over 40 SAP instances and has KGS Archive connected to it. Worldwide data centers in Germany, Singapore, Pittsburgh. They do document and data archiving with SAP Archive Link, and they also use it with SAP ILM. EnBW is an electricity company, an electricity service provider. Therefore, the high number of archive files, every invoice to every customer that goes out lands in the system. Over 260 million archive files that are managed by KGS, 100 SAP instances connected, one archive admin, up to 6 million new documents, all utility invoices every day. I know many customers don't have that size, and really that goes to the beauty of the solution, that it is highly scalable. It can work for a small or medium sized environment because it can be right sized and it can grow over time. But it also scales for those large environments that we have with Bayer or EnBW or Home Depot, who archives 400,000 new documents into a KGS archiving system every day. Other customers where we did use the migration tool include Armstrong, home products, building products. Mostly we replaced an existing solution and migrated over 28 million documents, 8 terabytes of data in a complete project time frame of less than 2 months. The actual migration was much shorter, but as I said, there's obviously preparation, ramp up, testing time, because we want to make sure that we have no production down, or almost no production down, close to zero production down in that transition process from one archive to the other. Procter & Gamble, another large solution that where the KGS archive is in place. A nice company, Justin Brands. They do cowboy boots. We did in Texas. We did an interesting archive replacement project for them. Migrated data archiving files for them and built a little bit of custom code to link to various Adobe Forms documents. So again, I wanted to show both sides of the spectrum. A small boutique type company like Justin Brands, and larger international companies like Armstrong and Procter & Gamble. And just a quick view, there's many other companies that use KGS solutions, BASF, Coke, PepsiCo, SAP themselves uses it for their consulting team to do SAP ILM demonstrations, ThyssenKrupp, Volvo, BMW, HP, and so on. How do we help with that? Why? I talked a lot about KGS. Let's talk a little bit about solutionXchg and what we do. Kristen and I bring a tremendous amount of knowledge in this industry to the table. We have done, as Kristen pointed out in her introduction, SAP implementations, module implementations. We have worked with a variety of imaging systems in different lives and different jobs. We do everything from business process analysis to SAP module customizing, surrounded module customizing. We manage your project. We advise you on enterprise content management and solutions around it. In that capacity, we advocate the KGS content server for storage and the Eternity solution package, and we help you with everything document and data archiving. And in that regard, we also feature solutions from PBS software to enable some data archiving capabilities in your organization and allow for easy access to archived transactional documents. We also offer TJC software that simplifies the data archiving task in itself by providing a nice cockpit that keeps track of what's going on in the data archiving in your organization, how you can optimize it, as well as business solutions from XFT. We're talking about one of these solutions, an HR solution, here in an upcoming ASAC uh, local chapter meeting this Thursday, where we present the HR implementation at Shire Pharmaceuticals at the local ASAC chapter in Newtown Square at SAP. solutionXchg is a US company focusing on innovative German software products that we make available to the US market. We're an exclusive KGS reseller in the US, and we have very strong SAP archiving document management expertise. We're specifically looking out for low cost, high quality solutions that give you a high ROI, and we source solutions for that purpose from selected vendors. Overall, we have more than 19 years of experience in the SAP implementation market. And take a look at our website. There's a lot of good information on it. We have a snapshot of the website on the right here. So it's a lot to consume, not only product information, but also good, solid information about use cases is available on our website. So if you look at the document archiving, data archiving needs in SAP, there is these four quadrants. There is the archiving tools, that is the PBS tools, the managing tools for data archiving and Dart functionality. There is the business solutions on the other side, SAP-centric management of business records, safe, secure, SAP-centric views for accounts payable, for HR, for all areas, contracts management in your enterprise that can be augmented with the direct embedding of scanned documents or captured outgoing documents. Of course, there is a general document management functionality for non-SAP related documents. That need arises too. And there is the capability to bring it all under one umbrella and have a very convenient, user-friendly retrieval transaction for non-SAP related documents. And all sits and rests on the KGS content server for storage and the Eternity ICAS solution as your storage platform for Dart data archiving, imaging, and ILM data. Looking at the data archiving tools here in a little bit more detail, obviously data archiving has a number of good benefits. It reduces the SAP database size and manages the data growth. It allows and supports performance improvements. It it gives you time savings for administrative purposes, less backup time, faster upgrades, and more easy disaster recovery, and it's compliant with international and federal regulations. But it has some challenges. You lose when you data archive, you lose that comfortable and complete data retrieval functionality you have for all SAP online data. Sometimes the navigation is difficult or and outright non-intuitive to get to archive data because it's not easily viewable anymore, and it requires a high training effort within your organization. And therefore, we are featuring products from PBS software. PBS software allows you to overcome that by augmenting the most common SAP transaction retrieval transactions to really span between online data and archive data, and transparently display archived database objects as if they were still in the system. And that's, it doesn't need to be that way. It doesn't need to be implemented for every single object. That's where we come in, that we have our a team of specialists for data archiving that will put together a solid data archiving strategy for you, and then recommend where products from PBS and TJC software can actually help and support your data archiving processes. And on the other end of the spectrum, the business side, we have a solution portfolio from XFT to offer solutions for invoice management, for personnel file, HR personnel file solution, a contracts manager solution, a project file solution, and so on, a variety of task specific solutions that all rely on the same framework. So once you decide to go with any of the XFT business solutions, the framework is put in place and it becomes an enabling. All you have to do is an enabling of the business side of things by allowing for improved document access to original documents in specific SAP transactions. And all these tools come with the added feature of predefined workflows, uh, sharing capabilities, communicative uh, tools, monitor functions that allow you to view all the documents that are archived in one comprehensive view, whether that's like an invoice monitor or that's a personnel file view where you have more of a structured view. In an invoice monitor, you have more of a transactional view. So everything that is required for business process optimization is provided by the XFT solution portfolio. So uh, I'm close to the end of my presentation. In summary, what we have seen, um, KGS content server software run can run as a VM implementation, easy snapshot backup, dynamic resource allocation, very scalable uh, by using its features that allow it to be installed in multiple instances on multiple servers. So no oversizing required in the beginning, no large hardware investment that's outdated in a short period of time, easily installed in VMware platforms, and even there on a VMware platform because it's stateless, it doesn't have a database, very small footprint. General advantages: easy load balancing if you have multiple instances. Uh, all necessary archive metadata is stored in the backend or in SAP, so there's no database, no backup requirements for administration. And that concludes my presentation. Hopefully you find this insightful. We believe it truly is a revolutionary way to address SAP archiving in your organization based on the KGS solution portfolio. Please contact Kristen or contact me if you have any questions. And with that, I hand it back to Kristen. Thank you.
Thank you, Jochen. This concludes the presentation part, and now we have the floor open for your questions. So if you could please use the question panel on the right-hand side of your screen to post your questions, and we hope we can go through all of them. We might, for time purposes, just answer a few. Okay, we have one gentleman asking, we use PBS, the data archiving add-ons in some areas of data archiving. Could this backend content server work with PBS as well?
Yes, it absolutely can. The documents can easily be transferred from whatever solution you use right now. If a lot of people, when they start data archiving, don't even store documents or data archiving files in any repository, they just store it in the file system. So we can capture it from the file system and then safely store it in the KGS content server, as well as in an underlying securing eternity archiving layer. So it becomes fully managed in terms of retention management. We have the necessary encryption to safeguard your data with it. Yes, it fully supports data archiving functionality uh, combined with PBS.
Okay, great. Another question is regarding the migration, Jochen, that you had mentioned. We have a lady asking if the existing maintenance agreement with the current solution can be terminated during the migration of legacy documents.
That's a very good question. Yes, often timing is challenging because you don't know when you can actually cancel your existing maintenance agreement with specifically one of the classical um, large scale ECM solutions. And timing is often a challenge. Not, we are very flexible. We can speed things up and slow things down. We can work with your pace. That's not an issue. But just our experience in getting a process rolling, getting the project started, getting all the paperwork in place sometimes presents a challenge. We have technical staff available that allows to continue the maintenance and support for your existing solutions. In many cases, we have contracted with our clients to provide and extend the maintenance on the existing solution. Of course, um, uh, more in a read-only stage for the time period where we do the actual migration. You would put a new solution, KGS content server for storage solution in place, and we will maintain your existing solution while the data is actually migrating over. So not a problem at all. We've done it several times, and we can help you out with that. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. And one last question is, Jochen, you mentioned quite a bit that KGS works without a database. We have one participant wanting to know, so how is the data stored so that you can bring the document back on a retrieval call if it's not stored in a database?
Um, KGS uses a very well designed file system structure that allows you uh, uh, to really fan out the documents in a directory tree. And without becoming too technical, I could spend a half hour explaining to that, but it is really an ingenious way of storing those documents. It goes to the fine architecture of this product that with just a smart idea allows them to do without that translating index table that translates from SAP document ID to clip ID or any other logical ID that identifies a document in the storage system. And obviously, in the past, databases were the only tools that were capable of managing and quickly retrieving large amounts of data and translating those SAP document IDs into archiving document IDs. But KGS has developed a proprietary uh, uh, but very clever way of translating or using file directory trees for document storage and safely store those documents in those directory trees. So very clever method.
Okay. Well, there's no more questions, so it leaves me with to thanking you all for participating in today's webinar. And we hope you could get some interesting takeaways. And please feel free to contact us with any further questions that might be popping up. And until next time, goodbye.
Thank you very much, everybody. Goodbye.